Okay, good. Then we could just wait till things happen, and then we can start the show.
Yes.
So, how have you been doing? You're looking
Diana,
great.
excuse me, what do you see? Do you see it switching now?
I see alternating him and me.
Good, good, good. Okay, that's what the program is. Great. All right, if you're ready, I can go into record.
I am ready.
Here we go. Oh, let me set up the timer. 30, 28, right?
Right.
And the clock is running, right?
Yes.
Okay, stand by. We're going to go in 15 seconds. Thank you for your patience, Hercules.
My pleasure.
Sound good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, go.
Hi, I'm Diana Montford. And, born male became female. We all know this backwards and forwards. Anyway, I'm trans. And my guest is our wonderful friend, Hercules Invictus, who, there he is, he has a new book out. It was released on November 8th. And he's going to tell us all about it, how we can access it, and let's talk to Hercules. And by the way, the lighting is making this eye huge and this eye tiny. Trust me, it's the lighting. It's not, my eyes. It's the lighting. Anyway, Hercules, hello.
Hello there. I also am experimenting with new lighting. The folks at Unarius told me to get a ring light, so I've been
And it looks
experimenting with that.
great. It
Thank you.
looks great. So I look like a cockeyed Shirley MacLaine today. But anyway, so tell us about your new book.
Sure. It's called Theurgy, Seven Approaches to Divine Connection. And it's a book about using an ancient technique or an ancient approach to becoming more at one with the divine. And we have seven different practitioners, and each one shares their own way of doing it. So this will be analogous to if you wanted to have like a book on weightlifting, let's say, we had seven different people who were weightlifters telling you how they lift weights to get the muscles. Here would be to get that connection with the divine.
So basically, they are a collection of essays?
Yeah, it's a collection of chapters. It was edited and I guess um, introduced and closed by Jean-Louis de Biasi. He's very well known. He's the Grandmaster of several initiatic orders, including the Aurum Solis. He and his wife also have Mediterranean yoga and are proponents of Mediterranean diet.
Well, now, what's the difference between Mediterranean yoga and, say, Hatha yoga?
I don't know. I haven't taken the class, and I have
Oh.
my own way of doing yoga too. So maybe one day I'll write a chapter in a book about that. Um, and then we have Brandy Williams, who is a metaphysician, occultist, who I've known about for many years. I was a very big fan of hers.
I've
Uh,
heard her on your podcast, I think, haven't I?
yes, she's on my Theurgy podcast. And this book actually grew out of the podcast because initially I interviewed several people who were theurgists but had written other books. So I was interviewing about their books. And then on Brandy's suggestion, we had a forum. There used to be a forum at a convention and it was discontinued, so we continued it online. And then we were talking in this conversation that was about 7 years of straight talking once a month on theurgy. So we decided to put together a book, and Llewellyn liked the idea. So we worked on the book for 2 years, and now it's out.
Okay, now, for those who don't know, Llewellyn is the definitive metaphysics publisher in the U.S. and certainly in the English-speaking world. It's just great. They publish everything. I've been reading Llewellyn books since 1977, and they're great. And I cannot stand the fact that this eye looks so much bigger than this eye, but it's the lighting, folks.
It doesn't look that bad from where I'm standing. If you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have noticed anything.
Well, the makeup washes out on this side. That's why this eye, where it doesn't wash out, looks much larger than this eye, because I actually have tiny little eyes, and I make them bigger with makeup, but in lighting, sometimes one eye washes out the makeup, and so you can see me. I look as though I'm winking and all that.
You look fine.
No, I look coarse, but that's another story. So tell me now. Um, so how will this book improve people's lives?
Well, people feel very disconnected from the universe, and they feel lost, and they feel overwhelmed, and they feel insignificant, and uh, they don't really feel part of something much bigger. And then the much bigger things that they do belong to, which are usually political or religious, they have their own challenges that one must meet, and you could have a lot of different adventures in those spheres, as you know and I know, because we've been involved with things like that in the past. So in some systems, you're encouraged to seek that connection, and what you discover a lot of times is you're always connected to it, and you can't not be connected to it. That's what I share in my chapter.
Mm-hmm.
That even though I don't understand everything that's going on, or even a lot of what's going on, like Socrates, I freely acknowledge my ignorance about most things, but I feel connected to everything that's going on. I'm very much a part of what's going on, and that is something I discovered that a lot of people don't have, this connection all the time with a reality or the universe or the gods or whatever you want to call it.
Well, a lot of people have been taught that everything that we hold dear, metaphysics, the gods, all that, that is not reality. And the reality is that we live in a crappy, awful, materialistic world. And when you die, that's it, it's over. And people, naturally enough, feel horrible because they're told there's no hope. So nobody wants
Right.
to hear this, you know?
And here in the book, I argue differently as to the other theurgists, that there were techniques the ancients knew, or techniques that people have developed since antiquity, that if followed, will give you certain realizations where your connection to the gods, and everybody has a different way of defining that, is something that you can attain and something that you can bring into your life. So,
Yes, but the psychiatric establishment says, oh, you people, you're grasping at straws. You're too afraid to die, and that's why you believe in all this stuff. In other words, people are strongly encouraged to be totally materialistic and anti-spiritual.
and that
And
becomes the story you live. So if you believe that, that's what your life is going to be like. So if you believe that you're insignificant and you're living in a crappy reality that's dangerous to you, then your feelings and your beliefs will create that reality for you, and you're going to be reacting to your beliefs. Uh,
yeah, but a lot of people are are insignificant in the world, no matter how large they are spiritually and mentally. Like, let's say you have a crappy little job and you hate your job, but you need your job, and you live in a real shithole apartment or something, and your life is crap and you hate your life, but you have a rich inner life. But on the outside, you know, you're like this insignificant person, and no one respects you, and it's, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but it depends on how you interpret what your life is all about. If you're not a materialistic person, then a lot of those things won't be meaningful to you. Like, for instance, I have tons of books. I've loved books my
Me
entire life,
too.
and I have more books than I know what to do with. And
Too.
lately, I've been finding ways to give away my books, or to sell my books, or to do all sorts of different things with my books, because I have less life ahead of me than I have behind me, and I'm not going to have time to reread all these things as much as I love them.
Yeah,
So
but you don't know that. AI might change everything. You
it
might
might change
have life ahead
everything,
of you than you've had already.
and then that'll become a news story that we're mortal through AI, and now we can access these things by thinking about them, and that'd be an interesting story to live. And that's one of the things I'm following, by the way, in this reality, the growth and development and spread of AI. That's an exciting science fiction story,
I think
and
it's
we're living
wonderful.
in it.
People are so afraid of AI, and I think it's absolutely fabulous. And I think it will cure probably every disease, including death. And I think we're on the edge of a wonderful, truly brave new world. And everyone is so afraid that, oh, AI, it will take our jobs. No, but new jobs will be created. And we might live in a world where you don't need a job, where you get money from the government because you exist, which would be a wonderful thing. I
And that's
think
been
they've done it in
tried by different
Denmark or
places.
Sweden.
Yes, you're right. It's been tried in different places, so it's a reality we can create somewhere else. Somebody's done it. They've worked out the kinks with it, and it functions well, so we can easily adopt it. Yes.
So I'm four square behind AI. I think it's a great thing, and I think this is like the invention of the printing press. We're about to change so fundamentally that it's going to be wonderful, I think.
And the AI is demonstrating sentience, and that's exciting too. It's bringing forth a new type of life into our reality.
Yes. And I think to a degree you are what you think you are. And to a degree you manifest what you want. And
Hmm.
people don't believe that, but it's true, you know?
Oh, it's very true. I was a barbarian for many years, and I wound up having a TV show and being on a bunch of TV shows. And I made a movie, and I was like, "Where's Waldo?" They kept sticking me in low-budget independence films, like in the background of scenes and things like that. And that seemed like a very difficult thing for me to be in this day and age, but it wasn't. And the barbarian means non-Greek, and I'm Greek, so I was able to be a barbarian nonetheless. So yes, you can create realities for yourself and for your loved ones, and there's a lot more flexibility that people have in creating reality than they think they have.
I know, but so many people have that idea that, oh, why me? Bad stuff always happens to me. And if you think that way, bad stuff always will happen to you. Think good stuff. Right over my kitchen sink, I have a little sign that I wrote out, taped to the kitchen cabinet. Only good things happen for me.
Right.
Hey, oh, I have my own TV show, right?
There you go. Yes, and you've had your TV show for very many years,
35 and counting,
and
yeah.
you're a celebrity, and
Well, duh. I don't know about that, but But I mean, whatever, right?
right. And in this book, I'm sharing with people the types of things I did and the types of beliefs I cultivated to lead me to feeling connected with the divine all the time. This
Well,
doesn't
now,
mean
when you were a teenager, I certainly felt very alienated and very lonely. Like I knew a lot of people and I used to hang out a lot, but I felt very lonely inside myself when I was a teenager. Didn't you?
I don't know. I'm Greek and I was raised Greek American, and there's a lot of weirdness in being acculturated as a Greek American, especially during the time when I was. So we believed that we weren't Europeans. We were told we're not Europeans. We believed that we were descended from gods and kings and heroes
Well,
and
you
things like
invented
that.
civilization. That was a nice trick.
We had all these stories about different heroes, and we learned about them in Greek school as much as we learned about Christianity and so forth. So I was always more attracted to the monster fighters and magical aspects of the stories rather than the more historical ones, which were very dour sometimes. And so my inner life was very rich as a result of that. And I discovered sword and sorcery literature quite early, and that was like a non-Greek interpretation of myths where people made up these mythical worlds, and they had mythical heroes who were barbarians and so on and so forth. So again, because I grew up Greek and American, I saw that a lot of what we believe is made up, or it's by consensus.
Well, didn't your parents, somebody just opened the door. Didn't your parents say, now, stop reading all this mythology stuff? Get a job, be a person like everybody else.
Well, they
Stop,
told me to get a job. I started working when I was 11. I had a beard when I was 11, so I looked a lot
get
older.
out of here. You had a beard at 11?
Dad had beard at 11. So I
I knew
started
a girl like
working when I
that
was
once.
11 in supermarkets and
Did you lie
factories.
about your age?
No,
Wow, that's something. You had a beard at 11.
yeah. So I started working when I was 11. So I was working, and I was going to school, and I was going to a good high school, the Bronx High School of Science, which
Oh,
was
get out of here. You're Bronx Science?
yes, on Bronx Science.
Oh, how cool is that? This guy's brilliant. If he got into Bronx Science, he is brilliant.
Or they thought I was
Go to
brilliant back in
Bronx.
Bronx Science. But
What?
yeah, so I guess I've always had a little bit of that grandiosity in me, and that's helped me develop a more positive outlook. And I am very experimental in how I do things. So I discovered that you can create your own reality or mini reality where you can be whatever you want. And I've experimented with a lot of philosophical, religious, and spiritual traditions, and developed a toolkit of techniques. So yeah, I never really felt lost within myself that for long anyway.
Right, yeah. So, if people buy your book, will it help them to live a happier life?
I'm hoping so. It helped me live a happier life, and I can't guarantee. It's like with exercise. Some exercises work for some people and not for others. Sometimes something will work for you for a little while, then it won't work again, or it won't work, and then it'll work. You'll have to try it out and see how it works for you. But these techniques help me develop this outlook, and this outlook has helped me live a happy and meaningful life. So, in this book, I share what I can with other people.
But don't you think you were sort of evolved to begin with? Like, maybe you've had a lot of lives as a kind of priest or something, and I don't mean a Catholic priest, or a Greek Orthodox priest, but maybe you've had a lot of spiritual lives over time, and that is why you are quite spiritual now. Whereas somebody else who was, say, a soldier or just a housewife, would have a very different take on life. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd have a different take on life depending on what they identified with. But there are lots of doctrines and beliefs about reincarnation that we've reincarnated thousands of times, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure I've had some soldier, farmer, and other types of occupations, as well as philosophical and religious and metaphysical ones. But I believe everybody's divine, and everybody has that connection. And
Mm-hmm.
the mythical gods of old, and the fictive sword and sorcery and sword and sandal heroes of more recent times, they're patterns, they're archetypes.
Exactly. And new ones come along, like, say, Spider-Man or something,
Right.
Man, Superman. But really, Superman is Hercules anyway,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have these around, they're all over the place, and we can tap into them, and we can imagine being something more, something better. And with the imagination and the willingness to be that, we become that. Maybe not literally, but on some level, the archetype, the pattern becomes very real, and it becomes an expression of who we are, and it becomes the road to our becoming, because we resonate with it, we identify with it, and we can use it to grow.
Hmm. Some people, I have actually once lost a friend because I do a lot of metaphysics shows. And he said, oh, well, the psychic stuff, blah, 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 blah. And he's a very rich, unpleasant person, actually. And, we were just friends. And now we're not even that now, because he literally dumped me as a friend because he felt I did too many metaphysics shows. He loved the political shows, which is a very base, as you know, politics can be a very base, nasty business. But he hated the spiritual and metaphysical shows because he thought it was so much mumbo jumbo. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but my point is a lot of people, materialistic people, uh, despise us for being spiritual, and
Yes,
believing in more than just this, what we can touch and see and smell and all that.
and some spiritual people hate us for being of a different spiritual path. That's happened to me quite a lot in life. I've had good friends who were converted to a particular way of believing in what this is all about and what's going on. And because I know I no longer am resonant with what they believe, they can't associate with me because doing so will bring them to a very pleasant after death state. So I don't believe that, but yeah, if they want to believe it, I can understand why they're no longer friends with me.
Oh, yeah. Well, I lost friends, a certain couple we know. You know them and I know them because I am a progressive Democrat and they are Trump supporters. And they found it offensive that I was a progressive Democrat. And one of the couple is, I believe, transgender.
Hmm.
You know, they find it, they are quite invested in being Trump supporters, which is odd, don't you think?
I think that is odd, but again, people choose their own beliefs, and sometimes their beliefs are contradictory. And
They don't, look, if they were super rich, that would be one thing. But they're middle class. Why are they Trump supporters? Get out of here. No. You know what I mean?
no, I know what you mean. But I've talked to people who, again, even politically, have beliefs that are uh, not in alignment with or not in resonance with who they are and what they are and what they really want out of life. They just buy into the belief system, and even though it contradicts the reality, they're still very wedded to their belief. And it reinforces for those of us who know the fact that you create your reality through your beliefs to a very great extent.
What do you make of someone like, say, Marilyn Monroe, who did indeed create her reality? She wanted to be a movie star, and she made it, obviously.
Mhm.
But then it was awful. It wasn't what she wanted at all. It was worse than if she just stayed a housewife. So, I mean, she absolutely hated it. She used to vomit outside the studio gates. What do you make of, you know, getting your reality to happen, but then once it happens, you absolutely hate it and it kills you. It drives you nuts.
That happens a lot, and that's part of the story of becoming. That sometimes what you strive for is not what you truly wanted. Sometimes it's what your family wanted for you, or what you believed you should be doing because the culture valued it. And I've had several times in my life where I got what I wanted professionally, relationship wise, and so forth, only to discover that that it was a fantasy, and I attained the fantasy, but it wasn't what I believed it would be, and it wasn't what I really wanted. And it's always difficult to disassemble a life or to start with a new direction. But that's sometimes part of what discovers that what you think you want is not what you truly want.
But you don't know until you have it, and then
Right.
a little late, you know?
But then you could always choose to do something different. It's hard, to switch stories, but you can't switch stories and be somebody else and do something else.
I know a New York politician who was quite successful, but his primary didn't work out and he wanted to be mayor. This is like 20 years ago. And he was 35 years old. And he sensibly left politics and said, you know, I'm young enough to do something else. I'm going to do something else. And he did. And he's much happier now, you know, so because his family wanted him to be in politics. He came from a political family, but he didn't want to be. I mean, he was successful, but he hated it, you know?
And at least he found that out early and he was able to do something else.
Right.
My flirtations with politics have been basically on and off throughout my life, but most intensely at the beginning of my career in human services and toward the end of my journey now, because politics, I discovered when I was very young, eats your life. And I started becoming in my 20s involved with local politics. I got on a bunch of committees. I was doing work for those committees. I was attending meetings. I was expressing my views. Some people found my
Mhm.
views popular, so I had like people who were agreeing with me more during meetings. And again, I saw that I wasn't living my life. I was basically attending political meetings all the time and hanging out with politicians. And
And they will use you up and throw you away. As
so
soon
I
as you're
decided not to
convenient
do
for
it
any
at that
reason,
point.
out. You
And
know, they are uh, as base and awful as we all think they are, you know?
but I know some very nice politicians at the same time. And
I know some too, they're the dead ones, you know? Only good
There's
politician is a dead politician. No, I'm kidding.
I got some really good ones here in my town, and up until fairly recently, till I got my diagnosis of Parkinson's, which limits me physically, I was very involved with things locally. I was on the Democratic County Committee
Yes, you, me too.
for District 7. I was the chairperson on 2 committees. I was involved in, local events and things like that. And I really enjoyed it. It was just,
Yeah, but it was different for me because I was basically drafted into it.
uh-huh.
And there was a lot of weird stuff going on behind scenes that I was not going to put up with. A lot of harassment, a lot of crap. And I said, no. And they said, this woman is crazy. How can she walk away from this? Well, I did, you know?
Yeah, I had to walk away too. And I stayed away from the crazier stuff that was going on. And um, I think part of what saves me is I'm eccentric and strange. So, I get to do a lot of things. Like for a while, I was helping with the Chamber of Commerce to do events, and I was dressed up in my Herculean finery and
We're almost out of time.
parades and things like that.
We're almost out of, oh, yeah, they wanted me to jump out of a cake at a men's party. I said, what are you, crazy? I'm not some stripper you hired for a fucking frat party. And I quit that particular political club. And to this day, I do not forgive these creeps. Being pimped out by a bunch of scuzzball politicians is not my idea of fun.
I don't blame you.
Tell us about your book. How can we access it?
You can go to Google Books, and right now it's on as an ebook, and you can purchase it. You can get it from Llewellyn's catalog or website.
What is it called?
It's called Theurgy: 7 Approaches to Divine Connection. And all the folks who wrote chapters are very different from one another. So you do get 7 different views. There's some agreement because the topic is theurgy, but it's how different people do the same thing and get different
Do it differently
results.
and wind up at the same place. All roads lead
Right.
to Rome, in other words.
Correct.
Okay. And how can people contact you if you wish to be contacted?
The best way is on YouTube at the present, and I'm on Facebook, but I'm on Facebook, then I'm not on Facebook. So you could look for me on Facebook under Hercules Invictus, or you could look on YouTube under Hercules Invictus. And those are the best ways.
Yeah. And again, your book is called?
Theurgy: 7 Approaches to Divine Connection.
By Hercules Invictus. And you can get it from Amazon. And can they get it at Barnes & Noble?
I'm sure they'll be able to get it at Barnes & Noble, but I don't have the release date for Barnes & Noble.
Okay. It was released, by the way, the book on November 8th, 2025. So should you wish to get it, it makes a great holiday gift. Anyway, pagans have Christmas, don't they?
They have Yule.
Okay. Well, fine. So anyway, let's burn that Yule log. Okay. So anyway, my guest has been the great Hercules Invictus. He has a wonderful new book out. You should get it. It's a wonderful thing to have. And it will help you in times of stress. You can read it and grow from it. My name is Diana Montford. This has been the Diana Montford Show. And I will see you next time. And I love you, and hang in there. It's getting better every day, really. We shall overcome. Love you a lot. See you next time. Bye.
And clear.
Okay, great.
Okay, it was great doing the show with you. It's good to see you always and good to talk to you. And I wish you great success with everything. And I will talk to you very soon.
Well, I'll call you and let you know when this show airs.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to it.
I look forward to it too.
And thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.